Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hi, Darryl. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
Where are you coming out of?
Out of Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Georgia, man. I'm sorry about the last one. I completely forgot about the last. I'm sorry to have to reschedule, man.
Oh no, it's good. It's all good. Yeah, no, we reconvened and everything's good. I'm coming out of Kansas City. So
Kansas City, okay. Great city, man. Great
yeah,
city, jazz, blues. Yeah, I got some family in Kansas City.
yeah, it's good. So you ever get up here that much?
I've never been. I've actually
Okay.
never been, but I keep on hearing that I need to go up there. I got cousins up there, and they're like, "Yo, you got to come up." And plus, I'm a big baseball fan. I know they got the Negro League you call that Hall of Fame there.
Yeah. I actually went down and covered an event with Dwight Gooden and a handful of others, and it was so cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob Kendrick, who runs the show there, is one of the
Uh,
coolest people around. So,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
got the barbecue, you got
Oh
history, you
yeah.
got the jazz. Yeah, you would dig it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah,
Good deal, man.
yeah.
Good deal.
Well, it's great to meet you, and I want to kick our conversation off with living through the last 3.5 years, going through a pandemic. How did you get through it, and how has it changed you?
Man, oh man. So I got through it. Taking it day by day, I guess. Looking back at it was crazy. It was something that, obviously something that you never will foresee.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, it really affected us because, we had a shared workspace called Bass Parlour Studios in Atlanta at the time. And so, we were really building momentum. I started in 2018, and it was basically like a share where every different musician had their own little station, and then we had like a recording studio in the back. And we used to throw monthly showcases for musicians, for local indie artists and indie musicians come out, network, collaborate, and everything like that. And so we would gain a lot of steam, a lot of momentum with that. And then COVID hit, and unfortunately, in addition to the personal side of it, had to shut down the studio on a professional side. So that was a huge hit. I mean, I ended up having to pivot. And what we did was, instead of having a physical location, decided to have a music app called the Bass Parlour app, where basically a lot of things we were doing at the studio, we now do in the app, connecting musicians, allow them to collaborate, allow them to hear each other's music, get feedback with each other's music, a lot of things. But now we have a global market instead of just being only centered in Atlanta. Now we can kind of reach a global market. So end up being a good thing in the long run on the business side, but it took it was tragic getting to it in that way, I would
Yeah.
say. You
Yeah.
know?
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day.
Okay.
Okay. And one of the kids looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you answer that child?
I would say I have an app that connects musicians. So, whoever you love creating music, and with different genres, different groups, different cultures, go on the app, find someone to collaborate with. You can find them, connect with them, and then collaborate with them right there. So it's a good thing.
That's
It's
wonderful. How did this come about? How did the whole idea come about?
Yeah, so when I had the Bass Party Studios, I was thinking about ways to expand our reach beyond Atlanta. Kind of go same with the studio, and then we're kind of piecing together some ideas, me and my team, for an app that we can make, or at that time we are thinking about like a website, almost like a web platform that we can have. And then when COVID hit, it put everything into overdrive. You had to
Yeah.
fast forward all these different thoughts. You had to really make adjustments on the fly, and like, all right, these things could have worked. We tried around, messed around with it, but now it's time to put it on the fire. Let's see if it goes.
Yeah. So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
A baseball player. Believe it or not, I grew up playing baseball. So I played little league baseball, high school baseball, played college baseball, and so I was gung ho about being the next King Griffey Jr. I was a huge King Griffey Jr. fan. Of
Yeah.
course, Barry Bonds, King Griffey, being in Atlanta and growing up in Atlanta, the old early '90s Braves. That was a huge influence on me on the baseball side. So Ron Gantback. I don't know how much you know about baseball, but
Oh
Ron
yeah.
Gantback, Terry Pendleton, the
Uh-huh.
whole little early '90s crew.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. You got Schmaltz and all those
Oh yeah.
guys. You got pitching. John Sherholtz left Kansas City after we won in '85 and went down and built that empire. And um,
Yeah.
I mean, and right now, I mean, you guys are dominating. This was a weird baseball year, man. All the top teams were knocked out, and
Right. Right.
the Goliath story just shined in a weird way. So, But so if you could go back in time and see any baseball game, any moment, what would you love to have seen with your own eyes?
Whoa. Game 7, World Series, Braves Twins, in
Yeah.
Minneapolis. That was what was it? Kenny Herbeck at first base pulled him off of first base. I don't know if that was 91 or 92. I think it might have been 91.
Yeah. Seems like it was 91.
I
Yeah.
think it was 91, yeah. But actually, you know what? I also want to see when Sid Bream ran round around third to get us into the to the pennant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an incredible moment too. I mean, those are all Braves moments. If it was a non-Braves moment, King Griffey Jr. scoring, I think it was who was it? Seattle versus, was it the Twins? Seattle versus someone. I can't remember who they were playing, but he scored at home plate to give them the go ahead run. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot who they were playing though, but yeah. So I was a
You're
huge King Griffey fan back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was good. I
Yeah.
collected baseball cards, and that was the card you wanted. You always
Oh yeah,
wanted the Ken
rookie.
Griffey. Yeah,
Yeah, man, the top's
yeah,
rookie for
yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, who's been a hero for you in your life? Who have you looked up to? Who's been an inspiration for you?
I want to say my parents. My dad was really present in me and my brother's life. Went to all the games. He coached us when it came to baseball. If he wasn't coaching us, he was at pretty much every game. Um, you know, so between my mom and my dad, and I got different things from each one of them. So you know, I've looked up to a lot of people, but as far as who I would say a hero, that's a whole nother level. The only two heroes I would say are probably my mom and my dad. You know, from my dad, I learned a lot about dedication, you know, focusing on your family, um, making sacrifices for the people you love. And from a mom, she's extremely resilient, extremely social. I learned a lot about resilience, learned a lot about inner drive, like she owns her own business and she started back in '85. So I got that whole side of my personality with entrepreneurship, business ownership, self-drive. I got a lot of that from my mom and resilience, getting back up. Um, so I would say though, as far as heroes, I would say those two. Those are two of my biggest influence and biggest heroes as well.
So, if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Wow, let me think about that one. That's a tough one. Hmm, let me think about that because there's a lot of different places I can go. Musician wise, I really want to pick the brain. Is this a musician I love a lot from England named David Gray,
Yeah,
and he's extreme. He's an extremely good songwriter, and I would
yeah,
love to. So when I hear his songs, a lot of times it's like he words things in a way that I thought about it, but I couldn't articulate it. You
yeah.
know, and he's very visual with his language. So I would love to pick his brain about how he comes to these lyrics. What's his writing process like? He also he plays guitar, he plays piano, so he's very talented as a musician. But I would really want to pick his brain about songwriting, his songwriting process, like his structure, his wording, everything like that. I would say is at least top three, maybe the top songwriters I've ever
He's a
heard.
machine. I haven't listened to him in a while. I'm gonna have to look him up here in a minute on Apple Music because it's been a while. But yeah, he's real deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody does a song Babylon. I think it
Yeah,
was popular back in the early 2000s, but go through his whole catalog. He's got some stuff that just makes you say, "Wow,
yeah,
like this is groundbreaking."
he's good.
Yeah, yeah. On the musician side, I would say him. The obvious answer would be Jay-Z because how he kind of meshed, how he kind of transcended music and went to being an incredible business owner with his investments, with the opportunities he's created, even with title. Buying that when it's low, creating a niche and creating a value for their whole thing is high level, high level audio, right? So, and then even some of the other business moves he made, like him and Beyonce's music off of Spotify for a while. I think he's back on it now, but it was off of it for a while so that he can build his own platform. So in my mind, so he can sell it. I think it
Yeah,
was just a move to sell it, but I don't know. I don't have inside information on that, so I don't know. So
yeah.
he's had a lot of good business moves. Let me see who else on the entrepreneurship side. Huh. I shouldn't have. I want to talk to um, a couple people. There's a female founder of Canva, and
Yeah.
how she just came to the market and she just blew away the competition. Where it's just like, I was trained in a lot of Final Cut Pro, a lot of high end um, audio and video editing software, basically. But Canva just simplifies it so much. Even if you're used to that, it's just like, why would I go back to that? Not
Yeah.
not go back. There's things you can only do on that, so not go back to that. But some of the smaller things, or even medium-sized projects you have, especially for social media, it just makes everything so simple. So I would like to talk to her about her vision for that, how she came through, how she went from a vision to actually putting out there, and from the start, going it with a small team, going against some of the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So, what is the motivation for you every day? When you wake up, what gets you out of bed? What gets you to want to accomplish what you want to get done and be who you are?
My vision of where I want Bass Parlour to go. So it's like I have this vision of what I think me and my team can do. And one thing is I want us to. So one thing that's encouraging for me, and one thing I like to hear. I'm a music fanatic, right? So I love to hear, especially nowadays, you start seeing a lot of meshing and melding of multiple genres and multiple cultures. You see all these influence, and obviously a lot of it's with the internet, a lot of it's with YouTube, and so these online platforms. We're all exposed to each other's music, not only across genres but across cultures. So you see a huge techno influence or dance music influence on pop music, a huge now Afro beats influence on pop music. Um, and so what I see, like the vision that I have for Bass Parlor, is like musicians from all around the world collaborating and making music to the point where you can no longer categorize music as a genre. It would be too hard to put into a box, and having a global network. So I'm trying to take away some of the barriers of some of the barriers to entry for music, not having a network, not being able to have the money to record, not having to be able the money to find people to record with, taking away that, and then having an even playing field where it's just your music talent. It's just your music talent, no matter where you are. If you have talent, if you have a vision, you have the network to reach those people, you have an outlet to monetize it. So that's what gets me up. This vision of what I want Bass Parlor to do and the impact I want to have on the music community. And then music, sports, these are some things that are entryways to influences people's mindset.
Yeah.
Like a lot of progress has been made just in this country through sports. A lot of progress has been made through music. So I think music is entertaining, and sports is another thing that's entertaining, but also is like an entryway to changing people's mindset, I think.
Absolutely. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Man, I'll say the best advice is probably from my mom. So I remember my very first business that I had. It was and this is maybe 25 years ago now, 20 years ago. It was like an apparel based business where, I had a business partner and we were, pretty decent photography. And we used to make these like hoodies like this, and t-shirts and different apparel where it was all focused on youth sports, where we would have the kids or a child's picture on there. It's all sport. It's all stuff for parents to wear at their kids' game. So I have
Yeah.
the picture of the kid on the front. On the back, where I have the jersey number of the kid and last name of the kid in the back. And I had in my head, I had this, oh, it's gonna be big because I would remember my parents at all my games, all these parents around, they just wearing random things. I was like, okay, well, they can wear their own jersey with the kids, like an action shot from the kid on the front. On the back, and have like a little jersey. So I left my current job to do that and pursued it really hard. And I remember it took a long time to get ramped up. It ended up being pretty good, but it took a long time to get ramped up. And I remember I was living in Orlando at the time, moved from Orlando to Atlanta. I was in my mid 20s or so, late 20s. And I remember I moved back in with my mom temporarily just so I could get back on my feet. So I had a little savings. I was okay, let me save some money until we get ramped up. Then I can. So I remember that, on the side, just to make ends meet, I was doing a lot of different things. I was teaching baseball lessons. I was doing valet park and all kinds of this odd job just to make ends meet. And I remember I was so frustrated for the first few months. And I remember I just came from doing one of my side jobs. I was just exhausted. And I was kind of like feeling sorry for myself because I had left a really, really good job in order to pursue this. And I remember my mom, who's also an entrepreneur, as I said, she said, take one day or take one night. You feel sorry for yourself, cry if you need to cry, and get back up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get back to it. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of the mindset I've had is, there's nothing wrong with feeling sorry for yourself for a limited amount of time, but when the sun comes back up, you just got to get back on the grind and keep going.
So speaking of youth, if you had a dream tonight and you ran into that like a 20-year-old version of yourself, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained up to this point in your life, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say follow what makes you feel alive. Follow what makes you feel alive and know that um, there's going to be times where you want to quit. But if it makes you feel alive, there's nothing better on the other side. You have to, see this all the way through. It's not even about making it or not making it. See it all the way through, so there's no regrets. And there's all these other options of things you could do in your mind, especially when times get rough. I could go this way. I can, So there's all these other options in your mind. But if that's what makes you feel alive, go for it and forget about all the other options. And
Yeah.
this come to terms with the fact that you're going to go through a very hard process to get where you want to go, but that's the price of admission.
Yeah. So of all the things you've done and overcome and become, what are you the proudest of?
Oh man, I say making my parents and my brother uh proud of who I am as a person. It has nothing to do with accomplishments or has nothing to do with the business or anything like that. Just proud of who I am as a person. Like my parents always told me and my brother, they got divorced when we were in college. So, we were out the house, or I was out the house. My brother was still in high school, but you know, they feel that their greatest accomplishment in life is me and my brother. They're very proud of us and very proud of who we become. Outside of anything that we've done, like professionally, they're just proud of the people that we are. And to make my parents proud of who I am as a person is probably I would say is my biggest accomplishment, something I take pride in.
So everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's
Mhm.
your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Uh, I think I'm someone who's very perceptive. Um, Very perceptive. Take everything in. I'm not quick to reaction. I think things through a lot. Um, and just a fun loving, just very just I like to have fun, like to tell jokes, and just like to be just like to be me. This I think I'm a very genuine person with not a very genuine, unfiltered person. I would say.
So if anyone wants to pick up the app, learn more about you, anything about your world, where's the best place to go?
Well, the app's on the App Store, the Apple App Store, as well as on Google Play. So you can pick it up there. Eventually, we're also going to have a web platform version of it and also be on tablets. But for right now, it's available on Google Play. So if you have a Samsung, if you have an Apple phone, either one, go to the App Store, go to the Google Store, download it, and you all love it. There are a lot of musicians on there, artists, producers, instrumentalists, songwriters. So all audio engineers, so all different kinds of musicians, kinds of artists. You connect with people right there on the app, collaborate, create some great music. So yeah, check it out. Definitely check it out. You all love it.
What a genius idea. Darryl, thank you so much for opening up. Thanks for your passion, your story. I appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure
Thank you,
speaking
sir.
with you.
Take
Yes,
care.
sir.